wanted to go through a couple of the segments in the psychopathology section of psychology. I'm going to start off with phobias. A phobia, at its most basic, is the fear of a place, object, or situation. All phobias are characterized by fear and anxiety in a situation or context that doesn't make sense to an average person. The latest version of the DSM, Diagnostic Statistical Manual, recognizes the following phobias as related with anxiety. Specific phobia. This is the fear of an animal, or maybe even a body part, or situational fear. For instance, flying or having an injection. Social anxiety. This isn't just related to the fear of public speaking, as most of us know, but also stuff like going to a public restroom. Is any place where something social can happen. And the final one stated in the AQA psychology textbook is agoraphobia. This is the fear of being in a public place or space. Let's go through some behavioral characteristics of phobias. People who have a phobia usually experience a similar level of stress and anxiety to when they are in fear of a normal situation. However, the fear they get when they impact a phobic stimulus is higher and more irrational than anything else they experience. Most people experiencing a phobia tend to panic at the presence of a phobic stimulus. This includes running, crying, or even just avoiding the situation entirely. Children may react slightly differently, either freezing, clinging, or having a tantrum. Avoidance is also very common. Unless a person is specifically trying to face their fear, they'll go out of their way to avoid any situation that may in fact introduce that stimulus. This may make it hard for people to go about daily life. This is because, for instance, if somebody has a fear of public toilets, they can only go outside at certain points in time when they feel comfortable that they aren't going to have to use the loo. In turn, it may affect their work, education, or even social life. And finally, endurance. This is when a person tries to purposefully endure the fear. However, they'd probably be keeping a close eye on it, especially if it's something like arachnophobia and they see a spider in their room. However, I do need to clear up something with the word fear. It's usually used interchangeably with the word anxiety. Anxiety, fear, we essentially just use them in everyday life. However, psychologically, they do have different meanings. Anxiety is usually for a prolonged period of time, but the level is incredibly low, and it doesn't affect somebody as much as fear does. Fear lasts for a shorter period of time, but it will usually affect a person's cognitive state way more. A cognitive characteristic of a phobia is selective attention. Essentially, it's keeping a close eye on just the phobic stimulus and avoiding or not thinking about other things. This was a good development for us when we were trying to face danger, and it even is now. However, when this fear is irrational, it really just doesn't make sense. And with this, there also come unfounded thoughts about the stimulus that a normal person wouldn't have. For instance, a person with the fear of public speaking may think that people are going to hate them for speaking and essentially seeming confident. This isn't obviously what a normal person would believe, but it is for somebody who has the anxiety of public speaking. These thoughts usually don't have any basis in reality, but it's essentially just the phobia playing a trick cognitively on your mind. Cognitive distortions are also very common. For instance, a person with mycophobia, the fear of mushrooms, may think that they are disgusting and absolutely horrible when an average person wouldn't. It's just a fear they have that essentially is as a cause of the anxiety they have. Thanks for watching this video on the phobias section of the psychopathology topic in psychology.